All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Marriage Matters. Yes, you're all welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And like we said last week on the Google Meet call, that today we'll be going live, and I'm very glad that this is happening. Is happening for two reasons. Number one, so we can always go back to the videos. And number two, for persons that cannot join um, in real time, can always go back to check. So my name is Lega Gbenga Jonathan, um, Assistant Pastor TRE, Pastor Redeemed Christian Church of God. And tonight we're looking at marriage matters. Marriage matters has been put together. I feel a burden from the Lord to help strengthen Christian marriages and help us set a foundation that will help us, have the kind of marriage that God actually has in mind for us. But tonight we'll be looking at a very special topic, seven reasons why we see a high rate of divorce in Christian marriages in 2026. Reasons why we have some of the things that we're going to see that are contributing to the rate of divorce in Christian marriages. And the first we're going to be looking at tonight is digital addiction and social media comparison. Digital addiction and social media comparison. um, you're going to you're going to see that we are in a generation where social media has taken over, So it is very um, common to see couples in their own space, even though they're at home, they are still very much encumbered with different social media things. So you discover that communication is no longer as rich as it used to be. And we always say that communication is the life of any relationship. So anything that attacks the quality of the communication in the home will definitely, attack the lifespan of that kind of marriage. So we have you have scenarios where you have father, mother, and even children. Children are on their iPad. Father and mother are looking at their favorite online personality, and time to connect, which is the only time we have, is a very fast-paced world. That mommy goes to work very early, comes back in the night, and the only thing we can relax with is with our mobile phones. With our mobile phones. So we also notice that when we talk about digital addiction and social media comparison rather, digital addiction, some persons are so addicted to their phone that if you want to try, call a phone fast, even try it on yourself. Try to do a phone fast, and it's called that a phone fast is even now more difficult than a food fast. Said, okay, for the next 3 days, I'm not going to, I'm not going to touch my phone. I'm going on social media. It will reveal to you the 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 level of our affinity with our phones. And the social media is a very interesting space. For some persons, aside just going to social media to get entertained, they also go there to begin to form ideas in their heads. So you go on social media, then you begin to see unrealistic lifestyles of others, people pushing out content just to ensure that they are perceived in a particular way. But in the recent, that is not the way they are. So see people having unrealistic expectation from social media lifestyle, unrealistic expectation from social media lifestyle. And these days it's also very common to see it's in a situation where you're watching You're watching something on TV and you're seeing the wife saying the other, that's my celebrity crush. That's my the mama. Mom say, that's my celebrity crush. You know, it sounds very harmless, but you see, emotional connections with people online also open doors to emotional affairs. Opens doors to emotional affairs. So we need to be very careful. I want to be very intentional. Very intentional. Let's keep our home front, you know, as a place where we can connect. Like a picture that you can see the mother, the father, the two children. This is supposed to be family time. Everybody is having his own time with different content on social media. Why that? Why the social media is not bad in itself? Let's use it to enrich communication and not strangle communication. So this is one of the reasons why divorce is is growing within the Christian space. There is no time for quality connection, no time for quality connection, no time for quality talk. Communication is being broken down. You even discover that sometimes the husband wants the attention of the wife, but she's engrossed in one content. She wants to quickly get information. She's laughing and saying, and very important things that would have been discussed. No time to do those discussions. Number two reason why we are having number two curse of divorce in 2026 is a financial stress and misalignment. Financial stress and misalignment. Um, like we used to say in my own home, that financial stress is real stress. I remember before we got married, our pastor, in one of our counseling engagements, began to say to us that, you see, now that we are going into marriage, that one of the things that we need to know is that in the marriage, about 90% of your conversation will be around money. And he told us then that many persons don't believe it when he says, right now you're cutting, you are still very excited, you're happy, but the moment the marriage kicks off, almost everything that runs it is money. So if we disagree with money, we are going to live in disagreement for a very long time. Financial stress needs to be avoided. Bad debts, mismanagement, overspending, living above your lifestyle, those are things that must be avoided. And this ranks very high in the things that has contributed to the divorce rates in recent time. So most times you come and see, what is the argument about? One person is arguing about who is making the money, who is spending the money, who should control the money, why should money be sent to so and so person. You spent money without telling me, I earn more in in this house, then I should have a say. Everything around money, making bad investment decisions. So this is my recommendation. If you're thinking of getting married or you're already married, there's something you must pay attention to. It's called financial intelligence. You must take out time to learn how money works, how to manage money. Um, One of the videos that went viral recently was a video of Madam Ibukwa Woshika, where she was saying that money should not be a source of conflict in your marriage. You know, money is a tool. Let's use it to enrich the marriage space. So we have financial stress and misalignment. And if for any reason you are in a marriage and you're already heavily indebted, immediately, as you're listening to me now, after the call, make up your mind. The first place to start is get rid of your bad debts. Get rid of your bad debts. Learn to live now within your means and trust God. Trust God. Trust God for provisions. Trust God for provisions. Trust God for provision. So finances ranks very high, very high. The picture you are seeing here now, This is a conversation around financial management. The woman need to question some of the things. You can see plenty papers trying to calculate. Things are no longer adding up. The tension begins to build gradually. The school fees that you cannot pay, house rent is due, there's no money to pay, other things are getting due, you cannot pay, family is calling. All of a sudden, the love that was once very rich undergoes a period of strain because of finances. So if your own dream is to have a very productive, progressive marriage, you must settle the issue of finances early. In short, while you're doing your counselings, all those conversations should have been had. How do you want to manage our finances? How do we make decisions on finances? You know, who decide where money go to? How do we come to agreements and all of that? Number three is sexual dissatisfaction and intimacy neglect. Sexual dissatisfaction. You know, hmm, mostly for Christian marriages, as you come into the Christian marriage, a lot of persons come in with very low knowledge when it comes to um, sexual intimacy, and a lot of persons in marriages where they are not satisfied. They're not satisfied. They're not satisfied. There's intimacy neglect, and the challenge is because of the way the economy is structured, the bills are not ending. If you're not even deliberate, intimacy neglect comes naturally because everybody is now busy trying to meet up with one or two other things. You're trying to meet up with this, meet up with that, meet up with this. Just discover that over a period of time, you know, intimacy begins to struggle. Other things are drawing attention. Baby one is in, baby two is in, school fees, baby milk, plenty things just comes up. So we need to be very intentional. Very intentional. For sexual dissatisfaction, please talk to a counselor. Talk to a counselor. Talk to a counselor. If for any reason, in a relationship, you're not getting satisfaction that you dreamt about. You envisage having a wonderful marriage, having a lovely marriage, but now you are there now, and it's just as if you are a shadow of yourself. You're a shadow of yourself, and unfortunately, in the church setting, sex is not something that you would naturally hear on the pulpit, and that's why it's important that as a couple you prioritize, you know, couples hang out and retreat that are solely dedicated to issues that affect the family, that affect the marriage. In this kind of setting, different kind of issues are handled, and then you would have time to communicate intentionally. Some of the couples retreats will go for. There are always sections just for the man and the woman to talk, to talk. And these sessions, no phones, nothing, just you and your spouse. Let's talk. Let's talk about the things you are learning. Let's talk about how the marriage has been. In those sessions, you'll be amazed that for the first time, your spouse can begin to speak her mind and say, in fact, I've not enjoyed this marriage for the past 5 years. I've just been managing. And the man will be like, I don't understand. What do you mean? And they will have that conversation. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I never knew. Why didn't you say it all these days? They say, there's no time. It's like you're watching football, you're having a business meeting, you are busy, you are traveling, you are this, you are that. You don't have time for me. Those questions begin to come up. Well, we have 3 children now, but I want to tell you, I've never enjoyed sex in this marriage. I've just been struggling, and you will be amazed. You know, we need to create this kind of avenues where we can have these real discussions. Once you begin to feel a coldness in your love relationship, it is time to begin to talk about it. It says, don't allow it linger, because the devil is actively working. He's looking for how to break more marriages. He's looking for how to break more marriages. The moment he discovers that, okay, this Christian marriage, the husband and wife, they're having intimacy issue, you know, for a while, he just sponsors a brother in your office, sponsor someone in your husband's office, and before you know it, someone else is already in that space, making it a little bit more difficult to get back to that full intimacy space with your spouse. So we need to be very intentional. To be very intentional. You know. Then another issue that has also accounted, it came up as one of the reasons for divorce in 2026 in Christian marriages, is spiritual incompatibility. Spiritual incompatibility. What does this mean? Spiritual incompatibility. This does not necessarily mean that you are marrying from outside the Christian domain. No. You know, one of the things we teach is that even as a Christian couple, ensure that your spiritual growth, eh, as you are growing, you take your wife along. As you're moving, grow at the same pace. Grow. Don't allow one person to be left behind in the growth process, because what that will cause is spiritual incompatibility. It comes to a point where we don't see things from the same lens spiritually. Don't see it from the same lens spiritually. Then even within the Christendom, marrying marrying from two very different, distinct belief system is also a challenge. It's also a challenge. You know, it's a challenge. Um, this particular person believes in ABC doctrine. This other person, the husband, does not believe it. The wife believes that tithing is correct. The husband says no, tithing is wrong. The wife believes that the children must be trained, and the two of us must be on the same page to train them. One believe that no, no. If you can spoil them, if you have money, spoil them. While one believes that prayers should be done, with loud voice, the other one believes that prayer must be done silently. These little things, spiritual incompatibility, has caused a lot of issues in so many marriages. So many Christian marriages. But you begin to have arguments and conversation around things you would have thought that the agreement should be natural, should be natural, should be natural. So this is very important. This is very important. When you are considering, you know, going into marriage, you must look at your values holistically, your spiritual values, your financial values, your emotional values. Ensure your values align. Ensure your values align. Ensure your values align. There are Christians that believe that once you have an issue that is looking very complex, eh, you can try something else. You say there's a labor, and if you ask them, of course they are Christians. They just feel that that this our traditional arrangements is not. God is one that also set up the wisdom for traditional inquiry. So sometimes you can, and one couple is saying no, that another person say no, there's nothing wrong in that, and you begin to have this kind of issues. Imagine waking up or doing environmental in the house and just discover a calabash under your bed. And you say, calabash under my bed? What? And your husband say, I know that is for protection. You say, protection? What kind of protection? Just our protection. You say, yes, it's true. Say, but just in case. And church guy, you would have thought, so you must be sure. You must be sure that the person you're getting married to, you have the same spiritual values. You have the same spiritual values. Very important. Then another one is poor communication and unresolved conflicts. Poor communication and unresolved conflict. I'm going to spend a little time here. Poor communication is one thing not to communicate, it's another thing to communicate wrongly. In one of the sessions we had, I was talking about, you know, hurtful words, hurtful words, hurtful words. Hurtful words are words that should not be found in your marriage because words are much more powerful than you can ever imagine. And I said in one of those teachings that the problem with hurtful words is that you can say, I'm sorry. You can say, I'm sorry afterwards. But the injury that hurtful words can inflict, it can take many years to heal. And I gave an example. I said, for example, we can have an heated argument. And after that episode, no more arguments. But if someone comes into the room, yes, after the argument have ended, we're no longer arguing. If you come into the atmosphere, you can perceive that it's as if there was a quarrel in this atmosphere because hurtful words they last longer in the atmosphere than the real act. You can see this particular picture. This man is practically yelling at this. Maybe he's angry, but you need to be very careful the things you say. You need to be very careful the things you say, mostly to the people you say you love. You say you love. And when we say poor communication, when there are issues, we need to communicate. Or must communicate in a way that you will separate the personality of the individual from the issue. From the issue. From the issue. A lot of marriages are scattered because of words. Because of words. Was a particular marriage, and the husband and wife they're having issues. It led to a lot of things being said. The mother-in-law joined, abused the husband's family, sent voice notes, just because there was a quarrel. When that episode ended, so sometimes so the lady now realized that she was wrong. Now she's trying to apologize. And the mother-in-law was asking that, so all the things that your mother said, how do you want to erase them? He said, it was because it was, his quarrel, one thing. Hurtful words. If you are quick to use hurtful words on people, please, you need to refrain. I know many a times, mostly our sisters, some of them say they have very sharp mouths. When there's an argument, you want to say very strong things so that your husband too will feel it. Please, if you want your marriage to be a destiny marriage, a marriage that God and His presence can be proud to stay and remain, you need to be intentional about the way you communicate. Let your words be soothing. Let your words be soothing. Let people come into your home and find out that the peace of God and the love of God dwells there. Dwells there. Dwells there. How do you say to your wife that it's as if you are dumb? You married a dumb wife? No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Absolutely wrong. Number six. Number six. This one is pornography and secret sexual sin has also come up as one of the strong reasons why Christian marriages face a lot of challenges today. You know, even though a lot of persons don't agree or we try to shy away from it from in the church, that there are persons in the church who are married but who are still very much hooked in vices like pornography and other form of of secret sexual sin. And this can be really devastating. Imagine walking in and just walking into the living room and finding that your husband is watching a pornographic site. It has emotional implications, mental implications, you know, self-esteem implications, a lot of things. The wife just feels maybe she's not good enough, So please, if you have an issue you are dealing with, please seek for help, seek for counsel, seek for counsel, seek for counsel, seek for counsel, because the power of secret sin is in the secret. The moment it is brought to the open, it will lose its power. It will lose its power. Absolutely. It will lose its power. You we need to become very deliberate and intentional. Don't say that if you love me, you accept me the way I am. No, no, no. If you have things you are struggling with, maybe you have anger disorder, there are, you had emotional traumas while you were growing up, all those things are now affecting your relationship adversely, please seek for help. Don't allow your partner suffer because of the things you're struggling with. Please seek for help, seek for help, seek for help. And together with the help of God, you can move from the place of struggle to the place of his rest, to the place of his peace. You can still have a very wonderful life, a beautiful marriage, wonderful children, and a marriage that God can be proud of, a marriage that God can be proud about, a marriage that God can be excited, to introduce to the world. Number 7, and the last point we're going to be treating tonight, is mental health struggle and emotional immaturity. Marriage is not for the immature, and that's because of the way the marriage space is structured. You need to be emotionally mature to be able to undo the things, the kind of things that will be thrown at you in the marriage. Every marriage will go through its own stuff. Mental health struggles, mental health struggles, mental health struggles. There are people who have genuine mental health issues that they need help with. They need help with anxiety disorder, um, aggression, mental health issues. You just, you can just, your mood swing issues. You can snap at things without, you cannot correlate the event with the action. You're just like that. Maybe while you're growing up as a child, you had some very horrible experiences, and it's not hurting you. You've not healed. You were raped as a child. You had a dysfunctional upbringing. You live with people who trampled on your self-esteem and the rest. Please, please. This has caused a lot of issues. A lot of issues. Your people love each other. They just say, I can't do this any longer. I cannot do this any longer. I cannot do this any longer. Every time, every time he's angry, he's breaking things. I'm scared. I feel insecure. Those are real fears. Those are real fears. Those are real fears. So please, so please, if you know that you have a childhood trauma, there's something, you are struggling with, you are battling with, it's not time to start hiding. You need to come out and seek for help. Self-awareness is the first step, for getting real constructive help. You need counseling, you need someone you can trust to talk to, Please reach out. Please reach out. Please reach out. By all means, ensure that you're a good thing. The Bible says that he that finds a wife finds a good thing. And like I always say, it takes a good thing to find a good thing. Ensure that under heaven you're a good thing. That if anybody comes into your life, the person will feel blessed. The person will feel blessed. With God, thank you that this is the person you brought into my life because you are truly a good thing. You're truly a good thing. So, we're just going to run through the points tonight again. We looked at 7 reasons why Christian marriages, face divorce in recent time. And we said reason number one is digital addiction and social media comparison. Social media comparison. When you begin to look at social media and making demands that are unrealistic, you know, social media addiction, eating into the time that is meant for family bonding. Then we looked at financial stress and misalignment. Financial stress and misalignment. Basic to this is living beyond your means, acquiring bad debts, you know, um, not having very good financial planning and financial management. And we said number three was sexual dissatisfaction and intimacy neglect. Sexual dissatisfaction and intimacy neg- neglect. And we said that if you need to speak to a counselor, please do. Your marriage is meant to be enjoyed and not to be endured. Then we looked at spiritual incompatibility. Spiritual incompatibility. So by all means, if God is raising you a man, you're making progress spiritually, don't leave your spouse behind. Don't leave your spouse behind. Don't leave your spouse behind. By all means, don't leave your spouse behind. Encourage her to grow. Encourage her to grow because as we grow together, spiritual compatibility helps to sustain a very powerful spiritual atmosphere. And when one is down, the other can step up and step in and step into the space and stand in the gap, as the case may be. And also said that spiritual incompatibility that you must be sure that the person that you are deciding to settle with, people have the same spiritual values. You have the same spiritual values. So we went further to look at poor communication and unresolved conflict. At this point, let me say that it's important that you must ensure that you don't keep malice in your marriage. Some persons, they pride themselves that they can keep malice for Africa. Once you have an issue with your spouse, you're keeping malice for weeks, for months. That is absolutely wrong. Please communicate and communicate properly. Communicate properly. Communicate without attacking personalities. Communicate, communicate without yelling at each other. Talk about it. Talk about it. You are two people in love, and just know that there is nothing that is more powerful than your love. We can talk about it. Let's sit down and look at it, look at where the issue is coming from, and let's talk about how we can actually navigate from there. Then we have number 6, pornography and secret sexual sin. Pornography and secret sexual sin. The number of marriages this has destroyed, the statistics are not even correct. You know, so please, if you're a young man, you're a young lady, you're not married yet, and you are seeing this video, but you are struggling, you're struggling, please seek help, seek counsel, seek counsel, seek counsel, seek counsel, seek counsel, seek counsel. Like I said, that the power of secret sin is in the secret. The moment it is brought to the open, it will lose its power. If if you want to book counseling sessions, you can just call the number on your screen and we can book a session just to help you, just to help you. become the best version that God has designed you to be. Um, secret sexual sin is a destroyer. It's a destroyer. It will destroy your marriage anytime and any day. And if you are already married and you're struggling and you've been hiding, you don't need to hide any longer. There is help. You can get real, authentic help. And finally, we said mental health struggle and emotional immaturity. Mental health struggle and emotional immaturity. A lot of persons are very difficult upbringing, very difficult upbringing. They didn't plan that their life would go that way. Now they're of age, and every of the things they went through while they were growing up, right now is messing up with all their relationships. You know, you can seek counsel. Can seek counsel. The Lord can put you back together again. The Lord can put you back together again. Now put you back together again. Um, Let me say this. Doesn't matter what the struggle is, doesn't matter what the issues are, doesn't matter the storm in your marriage. Jesus, if He is in your boat, He can put your marriage together again. He can put your life together again. Together again. You may be asking and saying, I don't know, where to start from. My life just is just as if my life is a mess. I've been through a lot. I can't even sustain a relationship. I don't know where to begin from. I want to tell you I want to tell you that Jesus can help you. Jesus can help you. If you're listening to me and you need a change, you need a change. I want to advise that you invite Jesus, into your boat, into your space, and just hand over the struggles to Him. Bible says He's our burden bearers, and He's our burden bearer, and we can cast our cares and burden onto Him. Peradventure, you're listening to me, and you're not even born again. You're not born again. You don't even have Jesus in your heart. Um, this is a platform where we are grooming Christian men and women to become everything God has in mind for them to be. I'm just going to say this simple prayer. You can say with me if you want Jesus to also be part of your journey. Maybe you're a Christian and but your journey has not been anything right on about, and you think that you need Jesus back in your boat. Just bow your heads where you are and say, Lord Jesus, please come into my heart. Please help me with my struggles. I acknowledge you as Lord and Savior of my life, and I invite you again into my boat. I ask you to help me. I desire to have a very successful marriage and a very happy life. Jesus, please come and take care of every of the issues I'm struggling with. Make my life beautiful. Write my name in the book of life. Erase my name from the book of death and make me a new creature indeed. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know if there is anyone that has a question that's on the call. I could just spare some time for questions. Any question or any contribution? Any question or any contribution? All right. If there's no question or contribution, this is how far we can go tonight. We're going to be having Men on Missions next week, Tuesday, same time. I'm still going to be using this particular channel, and I wish you the very best. Thank you for joining, and have a great, great, great month ahead. God bless you.